Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing Starbound version 1.0, and in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to fulfill a request made by Patryk N, who had requested a vehicle elevator. Now, a vehicle elevator may not sound all that complicated, but what happens with vehicles is that they don't really behave properly with rail platforms. If you have a hover bike, hover bikes just fly right through the platform. You can't lift it or raise it. It will not exist on a platform. It will just fall right through. These mechs that we picked up from a bunch of mods, so we tested a bunch of different vehicles. These will stay on a elevator platform. But as soon as it goes all the way down and then tries to go back up again, it will fall off the platform. So we couldn't do this with platforms. It would have been really easy just to set up maybe 2 or 3 rail platforms, have the vehicle sit on top of it, hit a button that would push things off of a stop rail, a rail stop, and yeah, we thought that would, you would assume that's how it would work. But unfortunately, the game does not allow you to have a vehicle on the platform when it's going up. As soon as it goes up, this mech falls right through. So we had to do something a little bit different with some trapdoors. Let me get to my wire thing here. All right, so each one of these blocks here is a trapdoor. Now let me show you how it works. You get into your vehicle, and then you initiate the elevator by jumping on this proximity sensor. And we had to use proximity sensors because there was no way for you to interact with a trigger without it being a proximity sensor. We have a little water down here. I guess the rain came in. I don't know where a fish came from, but anyways, so we're all the way down now, and we're going to go back up. And there we go. We have a somewhat very janky elevator that can push a vehicle up and down. Now we have another set of proximity sensors here that will reset the system. We had to use this reset system because there was no way for you to turn something off with a proximity sensor. It's on. That's if it triggers, it's on. There's no way to trigger it off. So we needed some sort of off button which would allow people to, okay, so they've just gone up the elevator and now they're ready to go explore and do what they need to do. So hopefully they'll just naturally hit this proximity sensor as they leave. So there was no way for us to turn everything off all at the same time. Alright, so let's explain what's going on here. So obviously you saw the proximity sensors. This one is the one that turns everything on through this persistent switch. These two reset it by hitting off on the persistent switch. Now, the real tough part about this elevator and why this elevator is so complicated is because no matter what, if you turn this persistent switch off, it's going to fire from here. Like, it will turn the power off from here, and no matter what you do, here, let me go ahead and turn it on. It's going to behave or it's going to flow in this direction. It will go down. So if I turn off persistent switch at the top, let me hit the reset one here. It's going to flow downward yet again. Now, you can't have this because if you have a mech down here, it's going to eventually get sealed in a bunch of rock. You need to have these gates flow in an upward motion, which is why you see this set of 2 delay gate chains here. So the middle delay gate goes down, and then the second delay gate chain goes up. Now, the other dilemma we ran into was that we needed some way of turning the power off without turning off this persistent switch. So what we use for that is another chain of XOR gates. So basically, the way an XOR gate works is if it has one port of power going to it, it will power what it is connected to. But if both are powered, that means it will turn off whatever it is powering at that time. So this was the only way we were able to figure out how to unpower something. So here we go. Let's see. Let me show you how this works. So this series of delay gate chains goes up. So let me go ahead and trigger this. Then we'll head on down. And if we turn on this persistent switch, I put a little makeshift button here just to show you how this works. It will then feed this second persistent switch here, which will power these delay gates from the bottom. So it will turn on each of these delay gates in an upward fashion, thus turning off the power going from the XOR gate that both of these delay gates are connected to. And then, of course, you reset it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to figure a way to just turn everything off at once. It will eventually reset because they're both flowing in opposite directions. This one's going up, and the middle chain is going down. So, as you can see, the cost of something like this is astronomical. You've got to make, at least for this one, you need to make a gate, or you need to make 3 gates, an XOR and 2 delay gates for every level that you want to go up and down. Now, I would imagine if you're happy with just using the big airlock hatches, you could easily do one with fewer of these gates, but we found it to be a little too narrow for some of the vehicles. So it's really up to you. If you need something that's really wide, like the hover bike's really wide, these mechs are pretty tall, but they're not very wide. So you could easily do like a mech bay using airlock hatches instead of all these trapdoors. But we wanted to make something that would accommodate both this mech and a hover bike. So here's the hover bike. Do a little jump in the hover bike. And down we go. So I understand that this is not the most elegant of solutions here. But this is the only way we were able to get this to work. Unfortunately. So Alan Miguel, one of my regulars on the streams and on my Discord server, he's really good at the whole engineering side of this. And the two of us were scratching our heads for about 2.5 hours. I'm going to be putting a link into this video to show you the stream in which we went ahead and built this thing. And both of us were like, we have no clue. But this was the best we could possibly do, given the limitations of the game itself. Now, like I said, if we could do this with rails, it would be super easy. But because you can't use rails, this is what we came up with. All right, Patrick, hopefully this is is accommodating for your needs. Really appreciate you sending out the request. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching, folks. This is Johnnyonoes playing Starbound version 1.0. Catch you all in the next episode. Thank you so much.